Formerly the most influential figure in the known world, Marcus Aurelius made an endeavor to lead a virtuous life in accordance with Stoic philosophy. In contrast to numerous Roman emperors, he refrained from indulging in the abundant pleasures at his disposal, abstaining from excessive wine consumption and spectating sadistic events at the Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius was driven by the desire to fulfill the mission entrusted to him by fortune, which revolved around serving humanity. Consequently, he held a profound commitment to realizing his purpose. However, to achieve this, he recognized the necessity of diminishing his concern for matters that lacked worthiness or wisdom, and it's important to note that such matters were quite abundant. One of the essential concepts in Stoicism is the schism between things we control and do not control, which Epictetus in Cardian explains so clearly. Most, if not all, things beyond our own actions are not up to us. Does that mean we should renounce the world? But the Stoics believe that we should be realistic about our limited influence on these things, and that we create an unnecessary burden for ourselves if we aren't. When life becomes painful, it frequently indicates that we invest our emotions in matters beyond our control. In doing so, we inadvertently grant these matters the authority to manipulate and control us like puppeteers. Paradoxically, we then point fingers at these puppeteers for pulling our strings, failing to realize that we have given them the power to do so. However, by disengaging our emotional investment in these matters, we strip them of their influence over us, granting ourselves the serenity to remain undisturbed. For Marcus Aurelius, being unperturbed by things outside of his control allowed him to cope with the many responsibilities and challenges he faced as an emperor. It enabled him to focus on the task he believed he was given by the gods. For Epictetus, it meant freedom. For other people, not being moved by external forces or a selection of them could be a way to focus on goals that do matter. And for others, it could simply be a path to a happy, carefree life. When life hurts, what are the things we should stop occupying ourselves with? And the most important is, how do we do it? This video is an exploration and free interpretation of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy on how to care less about things that aren't worth caring about. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly differentiates between the present, past, and future. In each category, the ancient Roman emperor has valuable things to say about how we either care too much, in the wrong ways, or about the wrong things. As Seneca eloquently articulated, we often endure more distress within the confines of our imagination than in the actuality of our experiences. This assertion underscores the notion that our thoughts serve as the wellspring of our suffering. When we direct our attention to the future, our imagination frequently runs rampant, conjuring up myriad scenarios of potential events, most of which are unlikely to materialize. In anticipation, we contemplate strategies to navigate these potential outcomes, all the while trembling in apprehension due to our uncertainty about how the future will ultimately unfold. In some instances, what happens is what we anticipate, but in many other instances, fortune surprises us, overwhelming us with events we couldn't have anticipated. Consider this scenario. We might have dedicated years to meticulously planning and saving for a well-deserved retirement, only to be confronted, just as we approach the threshold of our golden years, with a devastating cancer diagnosis that grandsons mere months to live. The mere possibility of such events frequently plunges individuals into ceaseless anxiety. The spectrum of potential outcomes ranges from the best-case scenarios to the worst-case scenarios. What if a catastrophic Third World War erupts? What if we experience a complete financial loss? These dire consequences are undeniably within the realm of possibility, But as long as they aren't happening in the present, we cannot deal with them, as these events simply aren't happening. At least not yet. They only exist in our thoughts. The future only bothers us because we think about it, as it does not exist outside the mind. Marcus Aurelius started each day with a form of self-examination. He would reflect on the values, goals, and challenges he might encounter. This habit is called morning self-assessment and sets the foundation for the entire day, helping to develop self-awareness and self-understanding. Begin your day with a few moments of self-reflection, considering your values and intentions for the day. One of the Stoic practices that Marcus Aurelius advocated for is voluntary discomfort. When we embrace discomfort and difficulties, we build resilience and learn to care less about minor annoyances in life. Sometimes choose discomfort over comfort. This can include taking cold showers, fasting for a day, or walking in the rain. Maintaining a journal is a powerful tool for self-reflection and self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius used his work as a personal journal to record his thoughts and insights. You can start your own journal to document reflections on life's challenges and your journey to care less about them. Take time each day to write down your thoughts and experiences. Reflect on how you responded to difficulties and what you learned in life's moments. It's easy to react impulsively to life's pains. Stoic philosophy teaches us to pause before responding. When something triggers you, take a deep breath, step back mentally, and choose a rational response over an emotional one. Practice the pause and respond technique in daily situations, especially when you feel angry or upset. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the pursuit of virtue as the path to a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius often challenged himself to embody virtues such as courage, wisdom, and compassion. You can do the same by setting ethical goals for yourself. Choose a virtue to focus on each week or month and actively seek opportunities to practice it. Life's pains come in various forms, from minor annoyances to major disasters. Stoic thinking equips us to face these challenges with patience and composure. Stoic philosophy encourages us to view difficulties as opportunities for growth. When life puts obstacles in your path, see them as stepping stones to becoming a stronger and wiser person. Whenever you encounter failure or challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that it is not the burden of the future that weighs us down, but rather the weight of the present moment. It is not the future that harms us, but how we handle it in the present that determines our suffering. Suffering arises from events in the future that actually occur in the present. Ironically, the future never exists in the present because when we face it, it becomes the present. Therefore, the suffering related to the future stems from our current worries and concerns. When we overly worry about future events, life eventually becomes painful as we experience them in our imagination, letting them dictate our present. So, what does Marcus Aurelius say about excessive concern for the future? First, consider the following quote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." He emphasizes the idea that if he can navigate the present effectively, he can also face the challenges of the future. He advises himself not to get lost in all the dreadful scenarios that could happen, but to focus on the immediate circumstances of the present. When he focuses on the present, he realizes that he can endure it, and if that's the case, why can't he handle what will come? This attitude is similar to the concept of amor fati, love of fate, but then reinforced with the belief that we will be able to overcome it. About the past, Marcus Aurelius reminds himself of the swiftness with which existence passes and disappears into infinity beyond our reach. The past, like the future, is a realm in which we cannot act. What has passed is gone, and unless we invent a time machine, we cannot change anything about it. Marcus Aurelius succinctly summarizes, "Remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting moment. All the rest of his life is either past and gone, or not yet revealed." Despite the brevity of our lives, which only occur in the present, we often become too engrossed in areas outside of it, unable to step into the future and the past. Marcus Aurelius says that the past signifies nothing and is quite indifferent to it. Not that events in the past do not affect the present, or that we cannot learn from them, but we cannot work with the past because it is beyond our reach. Our memories of the past are blurred, and the way to accurately verify what happened is limited. We rely on memories from our own perspective and different viewpoints of ourselves or others. Therefore, the past is not only beyond our reach, but our recollection of it is likely to be inaccurate. However, we still persist in attaching emotions to past events, often reliving them in our thoughts. Thus, we experience the pain they once caused us. Some believe that reflecting on the past may have some impact on it. However, this is a deceptive illusion. The past exists as an irretrievable entity. It has slipped out of our grasp. All that remains in our view is the possibility of managing our thoughts about something that has long been washed away and will never return. Many people often say sentences like, "I wish I could handle it differently." However, such desires are based on the unattainable. These thoughts only serve to awaken desires that can never be satisfied and do not bring any useful benefits. Marcus Aurelius focused on his reactions to past events. We cannot control events in the past, and we can hardly prevent them when they happen in the present. But we can control how we deal with these events. Initially, the past may be considered unfortunate. We may have had a difficult childhood, or experienced the end of a friendship or a business failure. But according to Marcus Aurelius, the nature of these events is not very important. What matters is how we handle them. He said, "It is unfortunate that this has happened. No, fortunate that this has happened, and I have not been harmed by it, not broken by the present or afraid of the future. This can happen to anyone, but not everyone can be unharmed by it. Why consider this unfortunate instead of considering that fortunate? Can you call something unfortunate when it does not violate the essence of a human being? Or do you think something that does not oppose the will of nature can violate it? But do you know what its will is? Has what happened prevented you from acting justly, generously, autonomously, wisely, cautiously, honestly, humbly, clearly, and all the other qualities that allow the nature of a person to be realized?" Interestingly, Marcus Aurelius does not entirely dismiss the significance of the past. On the contrary, he recognizes its potential value as a source of learning. He believes that by examining patterns and rhythms in the past, how events tend to ebb and flow, often repeating themselves, we can gain insights that help us predict and prepare for the future. This perspective allows us to draw lessons from the past to inform our understanding of what may lie ahead. Currently, Marcus Aurelius often emphasizes that it is our only domain. It is the limited area that we have immediate access to. It serves as an observation point from which we can look into the boundless abyss of the past and the unpredictable darkness of the future. Marcus Aurelius considers the law of nature to be our teacher. If we run away from it or feel sad or angry because of it, we are no different from deserters and fugitives. We must accept the dictates of nature, embrace them, and focus on resolving them instead of wasting our energy, feeling disgusted, or clinging to our circumstances. In the 7th book of Meditations, Marcus Aurelius conveyed a method to embrace the present. He believed that we should focus on what we have, rather than obsessing over what we lack. However, he also cautioned against this approach. In his own words, "Take the things you have as if you didn't have them. Look at what you have, the things you most value, and consider how much you would crave them if you didn't have them. But be careful not to derive too much pleasure to the point where you begin to overvalue them, to the point that losing them would make you suffer." Nevertheless, embracing one's circumstances can pose a significant challenge, especially in the face of major difficulties. And when life hands us a series of lemons, one may wonder if it's too much to expect a respite. However, Marcus Aurelius argued that hardship should not be an excuse for reacting like panicked, suffering animals. Instead, he asserted that such challenges represent an opportunity to practice the fundamental virtue of applying Stoic philosophy to one's life. The essence of life does not revolve around the splendor and fortune of external circumstances, because these factors are inherently unstable, fragile, and beyond our control. What truly matters in the view of the Stoics is how we face the situations before us. Marcus Aurelius believed that should be our primary concern. He said, "For me, the present is an opportunity to practice the virtues of wisdom, citizenship, in short, the art that humans share with the gods. Both consider everything that happens as entirely natural, not as something new or difficult to handle, but as familiar and easily managed." Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius maintains a commitment to anchor himself in the present and focus on what is within his control, the present moment. However, even when we manage to let go of the past and reduce worries about the future, we often find ourselves expending too much concern on matters that lack true meaning. Events happening right before us often make us dissatisfied with the flow of life here and now. When events deviate from our desires, it's common for us to surrender to emotions like anger, sadness, or despair. But according to Marcus Aurelius, being disturbed by what fate brings is futile. The way the world around us unfolds is not our decision. How we react to it is what matters. However, we often become disturbed because we dislike what is happening or what we desire doesn't occur. Marcus Aurelius says that we should not resist what we are compelled to do. He compares those who struggle against fate to pigs being dragged and squealing when offered for sacrifice. It is futile because we cannot avoid what the gods have ordained. We cannot prevent people from wanting war. We cannot stop natural disasters from occurring. We cannot prevent our bodies from aging. Similarly, we cannot force the world to conform to our desires. There is no guarantee that those we are attracted to will reciprocate our feelings, and it is not certain that everyone will experience life's opportunities equally. This is unavoidable. However, we often waste a lot of time and energy resisting the unchangeable aspects of reality, the things we cannot alter regardless of the methods we employ. Our emotions fluctuate between anger due to unmet desires and sadness when faced with undesirable circumstance. Thus, the present moment becomes a prison filled with the irregular pleasures of fate. On the contrary, there are times when we are entranced by the present, clinging to it stubbornly and fearing to let go of what we have. Once again, we yield to the irregular pleasures of fate, but from the overall chaos in everything around us, ephemeral and uncontrollable, we often cannot see what we truly decide, our choices, actions, and perspectives. Marcus Aurelius believed that difficulties are opportunities for us to train our character. He urged us to see every challenge as a chance to cultivate resilience. The more challenges we face, the stronger we become. When facing difficulties, consciously remind yourself that this is an opportunity to nurture resilience and mindfulness. Practicing living fully in each moment is a powerful ally that helps us care less about life's obstacles. It allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, enabling us to navigate difficult situations more skillfully. Dedicate time each day to practice mindfulness meditation or simply live fully in the present moment in daily activities. Life's obstacles may feel overwhelming, but Stoicism offers a path to inner peace even amidst chaos. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that it's not the external events, but how we interpret them that causes our suffering. By changing our perspective, we can find peace even in the most challenging circumstances. When facing difficulties, consciously challenge your perspective. Ask yourself if there's a constructive way to view the situation. Gratitude is a Stoic method that can bring peace to your life. When we focus on what we have instead of what we lack, we invite a sense of contentment and tranquility. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple practice can shift your focus from life's hardships to its blessings. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that everything in our lives is temporary. By accepting this reality, we can care less about life's hardships and appreciate the present moment. Meditate on the impermanence of everything. Remind yourself that challenges, like all experiences, are temporary. Acceptance is a central principle of Stoic philosophy, emphasized in Meditations. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to accept both the joys and sorrows of life with equanimity, recognizing that resistance only adds to our suffering. Imagine an imaginary fortress of your inner self. Imagine it as a place of strength and inner peace that protects you from external turmoil. Marcus Aurelius had a deep understanding of the destructive power of anger. He provides practical advice for managing this powerful emotion, urging us to respond with reason and restraint rather than flying into a rage when provoked. When faced with anger, pause and reflect on Stoic principles. Ask yourself if your reaction aligns with your values. Resilience is an important factor in caring less about life's hardships. It helps us recover from failures and maintain patience in the face of difficulties. Marcus Aurelius provides valuable insights on how to develop this resilience. One of the fundamental Stoic principles is the idea that difficulties are opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius encourages us to view challenges as tests of our character and opportunities to become better versions of ourselves. When you encounter difficulties, remind yourself that it's an opportunity for personal growth. How can I emerge from this stronger and wiser? To build resilience, Marcus Aurelius encourages us to willingly seek out challenges and discomfort by voluntarily imposing difficulties on ourselves. We will mentally prepare ourselves to face life's hardships with greater strength. Challenge yourself by stepping out of your comfort zone regularly. This may involve taking on new responsibilities or tackling a long-neglected task. Many people often say phrases like, "I wish I could handle things differently." However, such wishes are based on the unattainable. These thoughts only serve to awaken desires that can never be satisfied and do not bring any useful benefits, instead of focusing on events in the past. Marcus Aurelius focused on his reactions to events that had occurred. We cannot control past events, and we can hardly prevent them when they happen in the present. But we can control how we deal with these events. Initially, the past may be seen as unfortunate. We may have had a difficult childhood or experienced the end of a friendship or business failure. But according to Marcus Aurelius, the essence of these events is not that important. What matters is how we handle them. He said, "It's unfortunate that this happened. No, it's fortunate that this happened, and I was not hurt by it, not broken by the present or afraid of the future. This can happen to anyone, but not everyone can be unhurt by it." Why consider this unfortunate instead of considering that lucky? Can you call something unfortunate when it does not violate the essence of a human being? Or do you think something that does not go against the will of nature can violate it? But do you know what its will is? What has prevented you from acting justly, generously, autonomously, wisely, cautiously, honestly, humbly, clearly, and all other qualities that allow the nature of a person to be realized? Interestingly, Marcus Aurelius does not completely overlook the significance of the past. On the contrary, he recognizes its potential value as a source of learning. He believes that by examining patterns and rhythms in the past, how events tend to ebb and flow, often repeating, we can gain insights that help us predict and prepare for the future. This perspective allows us to draw experiences from the past to inform our understanding of what may happen ahead. Currently, Marcus Aurelius often emphasizes that it is our only field. It is a limited area that we have immediate access to. It serves as an observation point from which we can look into the unlimited abyss of the past and the unpredictable darkness of the future. Marcus Aurelius inspired us to live with a compassionate heart, embracing the truth that each of us is an important piece in the grand puzzle of life. Seize every opportunity, no matter how small, to perform acts of kindness, help the less fortunate, whether through volunteer work or a simple, generous gesture. Conflict, although inevitable in human relationships, Stoicism offers us a wise approach. Through rational dialogue and deep empathy, when faced with difficulties, borrow the Stoic lens to confront challenges with a calm soul, a clear mind, and a willingness to seek common ground. In today's era, as Stoicism is experiencing a strong revival, people from all walks of life have begun to grasp and internalize its principles. This philosophy has become an invaluable source of inspiration, helping us navigate the complexities and challenges of life. Dive into the world of contemporary Stoic literature, listen to philosophical podcasts, and join like-minded communities to deepen your understanding of how Stoicism applies to modern challenges. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations is not just a philosophy, but a transformative way of life. Read, reflect, and apply the teachings of Marcus Aurelius to your daily life. Then you will realize that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, but a transformative lifestyle. Marcus Aurelius not only taught, but also lived his Stoic philosophy every day, whether as an emperor or a philosopher. He took the time to contemplate, self-examine, and apply Stoic principles to address personal challenges. We can also establish a daily habit of cultivating Stoicism in ourselves. Dedicate some time each day to practice journaling, meditation, or philosophical reflection. In times of adversity, Stoicism shines even brighter, helping us transform our reactions from sorrow to resilience and wisdom. When challenges arise, consciously apply Stoic principles such as acceptance, the distinction of what is controllable, and ethical reasoning. Marcus Aurelius is an example of ethical leadership in his role as emperor. He prioritized justice, knowledge, courage, and patience in his decisions. We can also lead a moral life, whether in a leadership position or in our personal interactions. Continuously evaluate your actions and decisions based on Stoic virtues. Strive to act with integrity, fairness, and humility. The resilience taught by Marcus Aurelius is not just a short-term response to difficulties, but a lifelong practice. Stoic philosophy encourages us to apply a long-term perspective to the ups and downs of life by recognizing that challenges are part of a larger journey. We can be less concerned with temporary obstacles when facing difficulties. Remind yourself of the broader context of your life's journey and the development opportunities that difficulties bring. Stoic philosophy is not a solitary effort. Marcus Aurelius had mentors and fellow travelers, and we can also benefit from a supportive community. Interacting with others who share Stoic values can strengthen our resilience. Seek out Stoic communities, whether online or in person, where you can exchange ideas, receive support, and reinforce your commitment to Stoic principles. As you continue to apply Stoic principles, remember that patience is not just about enduring suffering, but also about adapting and growing when faced with life's challenges. Embrace change as an opportunity for growth. When situations change, consider how Stoic principles can guide your adaptation. The legacy of Marcus Aurelius lives on not only through his writings, but also through countless lives he touched. His insights continue to inspire and guide individuals toward a Stoic way of life. In the spirit of Marcus Aurelius, we conclude the journey of learning about Stoic philosophy in facing the hardships of life. His eternal lessons invite us to embrace the impermanence of life, practice acceptance, develop spiritual strength, and overcome temporary challenges. As you continue your Stoic journey, may you discover eternal peace, boundless wisdom, and profound serenity. Remember that Stoicism is not just an admiration, but a way of life. It promises a rich life with unwavering patience, unerring ethics, and endless happiness. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, do not waste time arguing about what a good person should be one. Let his wisdom illuminate your path. Strive to become the best version of yourself, caring less about life's wounds and instead finding completeness in self-discovery and personal growth. That's all for today. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked our video, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with others. If you've watched until the end, leave a comment saying, "Stay strong so I know." I will read all the comments. Thank you for your attention.